Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. This is going to cover the 7 things you need to know before you go on your trip to Japan. They're all mistakes I made or things I didn't know before I went and I wish I did. So check out some of the other Japan videos and subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. Tip 1 is the Tokyo Metro can be incredibly complicated. I've got a little clip here of when I first arrived. And just look at this. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Just look at it, it's super confusing. The thing that makes it more confusing is there's multiple different companies that own different lines. This is particularly relevant when you're trying to get a day pass, or if you've got something like the JR pass. The JR pass only lets you use it on JR lines. Day pass will usually only be applicable to one company. It's worth planning your trip so that you use a day pass for a particular company when you're going to a certain area, or planning your routes around lines that you can use if you've already got a pass like the JR pass. Point 2 is there are tourist passes that make your trip cheaper, and they are only available to foreigners. I've already mentioned one, which is the JR pass, which lets you use the bullet trains, the Shinkansen, all around Japan. It is quite expensive though, particularly if you aren't going to be traveling to multiple different regions, if you're staying in one area. So there's regional passes that a lot of people don't know about. There's the Kanto pass, which covers Kyoto and Osaka. There's the Tokyo pass, which gives you discounts within Tokyo and covers the transport. And then there's the one that I found out about, which I really liked, which was the Greater Tokyo pass. This can be valid for a certain number of days, it varies, and it lets you use transport within Tokyo, but then also the bullet trains outside of Tokyo to the Greater Tokyo area. And with this, we got to go skiing, we got to go to Nikko to see the temples and shrines. Both these were day trips, just within an hour or 2 hours. And we also got to go all the way to Fuji, which the JR pass only partially includes. So definitely worth looking into. And this leads me on to point 3, which is get the trains whenever possible. Japan's trains are on time, they're clean, they're spacious, and they're efficient, and they are cost effective. Initially, I thought I'd beat the system when I went. We flew Tokyo to Osaka because it was cheaper and it was quicker, but was it really? I've got the prices up here, so you can see on the face value, it looks cheaper and it looks quicker. But to get from Tokyo city centre to Tokyo airport is going to take you at least an hour. I'll get the times up here. And then likewise, to get from Osaka airport to Osaka city centre, that's not including the time you've got to get to the airport beforehand, like an hour, and then you've got to pay to get any drinks in the airport because you can't take liquids through, etc, etc. So it starts to add up, and it's a lot more convenient to just get the train from one city centre to another. And this really came back to bite me when we were coming back to Tokyo. So when we finished in Kyoto, we had to get to Osaka airport and then fly back to Tokyo. Our bus ended up going right past us, so we missed it. All the other buses were full because the trains were cancelled because someone had jumped into the track. So we ended up missing our flight, and we had to get the bullet train from Kyoto station anyway. And it was so efficient, we actually arrived in Tokyo before our flight had even set off from Osaka. So definitely worth getting. It's a lot less stressful. Even if it costs a little bit more, it is much more efficient. So point 4, we're going on to a bit of food here, but the convenience stores in Japan are unbelievable. Combining the fact that breakfast isn't widely served in restaurants in Japan with the fact that 7-Elevens have absolutely everything from sushi to hot food to pastries, then it's just a must. You have to try it out. There is so much variety. You can try something different every day. It's all delicious. You have to try it. And that leads me on to point number 5, which is you can't eat on the go when you are traveling around Japan. And this isn't to say you can't eat outside, you can't eat on a bench. It means you can't eat whilst you're walking because you're supposed to enjoy your food and appreciate it. And we didn't realise this on our first few days, and we ended up having to eat in a park when we were getting dirty looks in the rain as well. A lot of the convenience stores will have places to sit down and eat. Otherwise, if you're having breakfast, you can buy it the night before and eat it in your hotel room, or just plan somewhere nice that you can sit down and eat it if it's nice weather. Even when we went to Osaka, the street food markets all had little areas that you could sit down and eat your food. Point 6, which is there are very few bins in public in Japan. Despite it being super clean, you won't really find many bins. And I would have thought this would lead to there being loads of rubbish like I've seen in places like India, but it's not the case. And that's because Japanese people take their rubbish home. The reason for this is because the culture is so indoctrinated into recycling, and they recycle everything, that it's easier for people to take it home and separate it to recycle it. Otherwise, you end up with bins like this, where you've just got a multitude. It's super confusing. Make sure you have something to carry your rubbish in if you're eating from 7-Eleven, or you're buying bits that you're going to end up with rubbish from, just so it doesn't all end up making a mess in your bag. And then the last tip is that Japan is a no-tipping culture. I thought this was going to be similar to the UK, where it's not expected of you, but if your bill, let's say, is £48, you'll round it up to 50. And that's what I started doing in the first few days in Japan. I've just round it up to the nearest big notes. But I had servers getting quite confused. They were giving me the money back, they weren't accepting it, and it just created a bit of an awkward situation for everyone involved. So save yourself some money, save yourself some awkwardness, and save them some awkwardness, and just don't tip, which can be really hard because the service and the food is excellent everywhere I ate. That is the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it useful. If you did, drop a like. If I've missed anything, you've got any other tips, then let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you at the next video. Thank you.